So you write about fertility being a mix of reproductive biology and luck. How should patients who've experienced multiple difficult cycles approach the process emotionally and mentally?
We have to surrender ourselves to the idea that we cannot control things in this situation, right? And whatever you can control, those are the things that we focus on. But you have to admit that there are things that we can't test for, but we won't know until you actually go through it, and we'll see how things pan out. And I think that
Mhm.
that's something people really struggle with, the unknowns and trying to grasp at things that will make you feel. And I think that if you go into it mentally prepared, that is a huge aspect of all of this. And that while stats are great and I can check your AMH and I can do your egg count, there is no direct way to test your egg quality. That test does not exist. There are multiple blind spots. And I talk a lot about luck and some of the things that we don't know, because I think that that really helps to restore trust between patients and their doctors, because we can't act like we know it all. We don't. And we have to help our patients mentally prepare for those moments where there are those big unknowns. I think no one talks enough about how excruciating it is after the egg retrieval, waiting that week for those updates, right? Whatever we can do to mentally prepare people for those moments and give them practical advice on how to get through those moments, that's what's going to help them avoid the 2 a.m. Reddit rabbit hole or the chat GPT
Right.
sending them in the wrong direction. I think it's about really just admitting the blind spots and saying, okay, these are going to be the more challenging moments, because it's like I'm on the edge of my seat, let alone the patient, wondering how are their eggs performing in the lab. And I think when you start admitting that and accepting that and normalizing that, it makes it easier for people to go through those pockets of time. And I also think that it's a message of hope. I've only ever gotten positive feedback when I tell patients, even in your late 30s and your 40s, a high proportion of eggs that could ovulate and result in an unhealthy embryo, there are still normal eggs that can result in a healthy
Mhm.
embryo. Now, do we want to sugarcoat things and give people false hope? No, we have to talk about the stats, but know that anything is possible. All it takes is one lucky egg. And that's why I named my book what I
Yes.
did, because I just want people to have every reason to say, listen, anything can happen. And in those in between cycles, if it makes sense and you talk to your doctor, it does make sense sometimes to try, because you just never know.
Yeah.
Sometimes just harnessing the power of what your body can do will get you there. And there's no scientific explanation as to why, other than it's a random lottery.
Yeah, I always say sometimes when two people love each other, miracles can happen. So you just never
Mhm.
know when you're going to see that miracle.